My name is Azuh Arinze. I'm the publisher and editor-in-chief of Yes International magazine. I'm also an author. I have about 3 books now, but I think the most prominent one is the CEOs Bible. That's also Tested and Trusted Success Secrets of the Rich and Famous. Those are basically the things that I do. I'm also into motivational speaking, and what else do I do? I'm also into public relations. I think those are the things that I do for now. Well, success, I've come to realize, is not served a la carte. You have to work for it. You have to strive for it. It's something that is methodical. It's something that you map out your plans. You know, success actually runs on principles. And once you are able to apply those principles in whatever thing you're doing, victory is certain. Well, I think my most memorable encounter should be with Dr. Christopher Kolade, and for a reason. You know, in the course of my interactions and interviews with a whole lot of people, you know, his name was always coming up, but I didn't have access to him. So one day I was flipping through the dailies and I saw where it was written that he will be coming somewhere to give a lecture. Without any invitation, all I did was to dress very well, jump into my car, arrive at the venue. As I got to the venue, I was about about an hour or two before the agreed time, you know. And while waiting, all of a sudden I saw him strolling into the venue. Now, one lesson that taught me is that serious people don't go to events late. That is one. But beyond that, you know, I approached him. He thought I was one of the organizers, you know. I wanted to take his file from him, but he wouldn't allow me. But eventually we got upstairs. Then I now unmasked myself. I told him I was a journalist. I would like to have an interview with him. And I remember exactly what he said to me. He said, "Young man, I'm not here for an interview," you know. But because I wouldn't take no for an answer, I persisted. And after some time he said something. He said, this young man who wouldn't take no for an answer, what exactly do you say you want from me? I said, just an interview, sir. He said, how long? I said, like 30 minutes. He said, no, I can't give you all of 30 minutes. I said, okay, how many minutes are you willing to give to me? He said, just 5 minutes. I said, okay. But you know what happened was that at the end of the day, we ended up talking for almost 1 hour. Well, I actually never wanted to be a journalist. My first love was law, you know, but something happened. The defunct Fame magazine, they used to organize one competition. It used to be called Fame Bonanza of the Month Award. Now, I happened to be the first winner of that bonanza. So the day I went to collect my prize money, which was 10,000 then, that was a very long time ago, about 25-30 years now. You know, when I got to the office, I met Mr. Mary Akingbola, I met Mr. Kunle Bakar, I met Mr. Femi Akinle Johnson. They were very young. I like people who dress well. They were well dressed, young, and everything. You know, and I was just saying to myself that, hey, it would also be nice to be like these people. You know, so when it was time, when I was now filling my jam form and everything, instead of law, I now put mass communication. Fortunately for me, I was offered admission, you know, but because I had established that contact with them, when it was time for me to do my IT, I went to them, and that is why, for as long as I remember, for as long as I live, I'll continue to appreciate Mr. Femi Akinle Johnson, you know, because he gave me the first canvas on which to paint my first set of stories. When I got there that evening, he asked what I wanted. I told him, and he said I should resume. You know, it now happened that the first 5 stories that I wrote were on the cover of the magazine. And Mr. Kunle Bakare, who also was one of the partners, one of the owners then, you know, after that 5th story, said, you know what, young man, you have automatic employment. And that was how I started. At 26, I became an editor. The first, it was a sister publication, you know, called Real Stars. I edited that one for 1 year. Then things didn't really work out the way we had planned, you know, so I I had to go back again to encomium. Then after a few years, when my then predecessor and boss, Mr. Makalefiong, left, and now I assumed the position as the editor of the paper. I edited the encomium for 8 years, and I think till date, I still retain that title as the longest serving editor of the paper. And I mean, having edited encomium for 8-9 years, I felt I didn't have any point to prove there again, you know, because I enjoy having new challenges, you know. So I felt after editing encomium for 8 years and having worked in that environment for about 14-15 years, if not I think 16 or so, that it was time for me to leave. So I left to set up Yes International Magazine, and we've been on it now for 8 years. And if the truth must be told, I think God has been very, very nice to us. Very, very nice. Very, very. I think God has been partial with us. That's the truth. Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is that there are two different ball games. But what happened was that while I was still with Encomium, Mr. KB had already been saddling me with some managerial responsibilities. So I was already getting myself acquainted with some of those things. But one other thing that also helped me, my interactions with some of those people that I've interviewed, without meaning to sound to brag, I think that I would have interviewed over 200 solid chief executive officers of reputable quality organizations and companies, you know. So some of the lessons that I picked from their interviews, then I have also, one other thing that I try to do is, for me, I have this culture of interminable reading. I'm always reading. I always try to improve myself. I always attend lectures, courses, seminars, and once I come across anyone that I feel that I might tap one or two things from there, I usually register, whether it's a free seminar or a seminar that we are going to pay for. So I'm constantly improving myself. Then I also have mentors. I have people that I sit down with from time to time, and I would like to, in a very special, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Kunle Bakare, because I still go to him every now and then to sit down to say, oh, these are the issues, what do you think I should do? Then I have another mentor I have is Mr. Odemel Fort. He has always created time for me. All I need is just to send him a text message, and he'll tell me, okay, I'll be in the office between so time or so time. When we come meet in his office, we choose a hotel where we'll sit down and interact. The former owner of Night Shift Coliseum, Mr. Ken Caleb Solomese, has also been very, very nice to me. I go to him from time to time and we exchange ideas. Mr. Kunle Onim of MPC has also been very nice to me. Dr. Osbert Ajago. I have a pool of, let me just describe them like that. I have a pool of mentors that I usually run to anytime I find some issues intractable, you know. Sometimes when I find myself in a business logjam, you know, I'm looking for a way to wriggle myself out of those ones. Each time I go to them, they create time for me, to enlighten me, to guide me, to educate me, to advise me, and I really, really appreciate them. Yes, for me, Lady Onyeka Onwenu and I, we have become, she has become a big sister to me, you know, and interestingly, we didn't set out to be friends or a younger brother and elder sister, to have a younger brother and elder sister kind of relationship. What happened was that back in the day, you know, when we were still at Fame, I suggested her name as one of those I would like to have an interview with during one of our editorial meetings. And I remember that Mr. Femi Akinde Johnson, who was in charge of the entertainment section of the paper then, had told me that as at that time, Onyeka had taken them to court, you know, that he doubted whether she would oblige and everything. But all the same, he just said, okay, I should give it a shot. Interestingly, when I got there, she accepted, she agreed, you know, but she also reminded me, she said, I hope your bosses told you that I took them to court. I said, yes. So we had the interview. But when I got back to the office, I found out that there's something they didn't record. I had a blank tape. So And because of the stories I had heard about her, how tough she is, she doesn't take nonsense, she's an iron lady, a Margaret Thatcher and stuff, I was scared to even approach her. So what I did was to do her a letter. You know, I got to the office, dropped the letter and left. But I had barely gone some distance, you know, when I had the secretary of the PA running after me and calling my name. So when she leveled up with me, she said, Madam said I should come back. So I went back. When I went back, she said, okay, that she had gone through my letter, we should do the interview again, which we did, we published, you know. Then from there, we became friends, you know, we became so close that when I got married, she was there to play for me. She performed for me. I mean, I remember she sang One Love, Keep Us Together. I also remember that she sang for me, Munagi Gebi, You and I Will Live as one and stuff. You know, so we became very close. So much so that when I had my first daughter, Genevieve, Mesomachukwu Ades Azuh Arinze, I discussed with her on the possibility of her being the baby's godmother. And she accepted, you know. She was coming all the way from Okwebi to Akute, where I live, for the catechism classes, because they insisted that whoever must be a godfather or a godmother to any child must make out time for that. And she was coming. So we've had a fantastic relationship. I think without meaning to sound too important, I think I'm one of those that she usually consults when she wants to do certain things. And I also go to her anytime I have issues, that I need her advice, her support, her guidance and everything. And nearly all my events, all the Yes International Magazine annual lectures that I've had, she's always there. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Initially, you know, the prolificity sobriquet, you know, or moniker, you know, those who were saying one or two things about the rate at which he was producing and directing movies then, well, I wouldn't know, but I felt he was also doing something nice. And I think one of the greatest joys that I have had was in the course of my navigating the internet one day, and I saw where one of the international media houses came to interview him, and they were asking him how he came to be known as Mr. Prolific, and he said, "Oh, my friend Azuh Arinze gave me that title." So I mean, it's one of those things that we did when we were there. Well, you know, the truth of the matter is that we have done, God has used us to impact some careers, but I would not like to mention some names so that it doesn't look as if one is trying to blow his trumpet. But I think I would like to give kudos to I Go Die, you know, because I had gone when Lagbaja was still the rave, you know. I had attended one of his shows at Motherland, and I Go Die had come to perform. And his performance, as far as I'm concerned, not as far as I'm concerned, his performance was superb. You know, and afterwards, I asked one of my colleagues to go and call him. He came, and I said, okay, we're having our Tema Awards, so that I would like him to come and perform and everything. So on the agreed date, he came, you know, but when I saw him, you know, yeah, he was dressed, but I knew that what he was wearing could be better. You know, and I asked, and I mean, he didn't really have what we needed for a show of that magnitude. So what I did was to ask my younger brother, Amatus, to go to the house to get an agbada, get a suit, get a kaftans and stuff, which he brought, you know. So he was now changing the clothes, you know, for different sections of the award. So at the end of the award ceremony, he brought back those clothes, and I said he should go with them. I'm actually saying this story because he chose to tell the story to the world. I mean, if you check out his page on Wikipedia and all the interviews he's granted, you know, he's always made mention of them. But you see, there's also one nice thing that he did. During one of my trips to London, I had bumped into him at a store where I was trying to change my phone and stuff, you know, and instantly he ran to where the cashier was and gave the cashier his card and said, whatever thing this man picks here, just swipe my card and everything. So when I had finished what I wanted to pick, and I went to the cashier to pay, they said, no, I can't pay. So when I turned, I said, no. So when I turned to look at him, he said, no, God, I haven't forgotten what you did for me. Whatever thing you have picked, since God has also used you to contribute to what we are today, I will pay for that one. So for that, I'm also very, very grateful. We have touched too many artists, impacted too many lives in that sector, but I mean, except the people decide to talk about it, we won't want to take the glory. When they decide to talk about it, we'll help them to amplify it.